Hello everyone and welcome to another collections showcase. Thought it was about time I updated this video, and today I'm going to show you my small collection of Titan vinyls. Now a lot of people have asked me if I collect these, and I've also actually been asked several times to do customs of these. Now I don't actually collect them, and I don't have any plans to do custom versions of them. The reason being, kind of the same reason for both, is there are so many of them. I just feel like they don't really interest me as figures. They're nice to look at. I haven't got anything against them, but I really prefer to spend my money on proper figures and make proper, action figures and things like that. So I don't really want to, for lack of a better word, waste my money on buying these when I could use it much better for doing other things. However, the figures themselves are quite striking, but the problem with buying them, as I said, is there are a lot of them, and so basically I don't want to have to go out and spend my time looking for all of them and buying all of them, because I'm not really that interested in getting them. I don't really have anywhere to put them. So I thought about it and I thought, well, what's the best way for me to collect them? And so the best way for me to collect them is I'm going to go for something which always draws my eye. I've got a bit of a weakness for holographic figures, and when I say holographic, I mean things like, for example, the hologram 10th Doctor, or the hologram 9th Doctor prototype, which I've got, or the clear Daleks customs that I've made. I've got a bit of a weakness for things like that, so I always like to look out for things. Generally, I don't. There's obviously lots of figures and things like that outside of Doctor Who do it, but I don't really collect anything outside of Doctor Who. But it is something that I'm always on the lookout when they do Doctor Who figures like that, and so I decided that would be my niche area of collecting Titan vinyl figures. And so that is, in a way, what I have here. So I'm going to take you through all of these. There's not really much to sort of lift up and to show, but for those of you who aren't aware of the Titan vinyls, they come in varying sizes. Although I think the larger versions, the 6, possibly even 7.5-inch versions, are sort of more special ones. Generally, they're all this sort of 3-inch size. They've got arm articulation, and obviously they do have head articulation, but that's pretty much it. They are made to be display pieces more than anything else. So obviously, I'm not going to spend time really as such reviewing each figure, but I am going to go over them as best I can. So going from left to right, we have what I'm calling the blue Cyberman. This is the Death in Heaven Cyberman, which is from, and I've got this on my screen because I had to write it down because I don't know. This was part of the Rebel Time Lord collection. Might help if I put it on middle of the camera. So it's basically overall molded plastic blue. Compared to the other Cybermen, it's got a kind of sort of hanging head. Whether this is meant to be the Danny Cyberman, and he's hanging his head as he does in the episode, but to me this looks like this is one of the ones that's perhaps in the water, and that's the reason why it's sort of got the skeleton look underneath it. So it's just the fact that it's just sort of stood in that pose because he's inactive as a Cyberman. But yeah, it's really nicely molded. Molding's very nice, and obviously you've got all of the bone printing on it as well, which is very nice. Now, something that you could do, and I'll use this figure as an example, and the reason I use this figure as an example is because this one does actually have a very loose head, but it makes me wonder that one thing that you could do is you could put a light or something in that, and I don't know if I can kind of demonstrate this. I have here, it's a modified sonic screwdriver core, but you'll see what I mean is it doesn't really show up very well. But you get the idea of what I'm saying. Is you could have it so it does. They do light up. I don't know if it's easier to do it with this one. There you go. You see that? That's what I mean. So it'd be an interesting modification to see if people could do. It's not something I'm going to do, so don't ask me for it. But yeah, I think that's the nice thing about these. That's the nice thing I like about these clear figures. And to be fair, even if you didn't modify it, even if you just stood them and you had lights underneath them, it would illuminate up through them. And I think that's the other thing I like about them is that they, they can be made to be displayed in really nice ways. So that's the blue Cyberman. The next one we have is a holographic 10th Doctor. Now this did come along with the 9th Doctor of the same version. These did come with a little holographic sonic screwdriver accessory. I think that's in a box of accessories somewhere I don't have it on display, but this one was from the New York Comic Con 2016. It was an exclusive to that, so obviously people who might not be particularly not knowledgeable, what's the word? People might not have seen this one before, as it was an American exclusive. But that's the other thing I like about collecting these holographic ones is you do occasionally get in the series of the collections, obviously because they're blind boxes, you never quite know what you're going to get. And there are some in there which are special ones, which are much rarer ones. And that's the nice thing about these holographic ones, is generally a lot of these, I think, with the exception of the TARDIS and the Blue Cybermen, all of these were either the other four were rarities or exclusives. As I said, this was a Comic-Con exclusive, and that's the nice thing about collecting these, is because again I can collect them, and all of these ones might not necessarily be ones other people have. So it's a very nice thing to have in a collection. But obviously, so again, yes, very nicely detailed, nice printing. All of the shirt stripes, everything are on there. Nice little cartoonish likeness. I will come back to the middle one in a minute. So we're not quite going from left to right. So we have here the 9th Doctor from the Fantastic Collection. Again, came with a little sonic screwdriver, but that is in a little box of accessories I have somewhere. I think this one is one of the rare ones from the Fantastic Collection. Now, when I say rare, I don't mean as in, well, I don't know, I could be wrong with this, but as far as I'm aware, the Titan vinyls, the rare ones are the lesser common ones. They're not rare in the sense of that they are worth a lot of money, because I think this only cost me about $3.99 or something on eBay, but they are less common to find in the blind boxes. I don't know how many of them are limited to a specific number, so I don't know, maybe it could be worth something, but as far as I know it's not. But again, it's a nice little exclusive to have because it's that little bit extra rare. Next up we have the Ghost Cyberman. This is from Comic Day 2016. I haven't heard of Comic Day, but I'm sure other people will do. It's probably something like a Comic-Con. But again, this is basically just a clear moulded Cyberman. Lots of nice detailing on it, obviously from the Army of Ghosts episode. Again, this is why I don't know why, but these things sort of really stand out to me. And I think it stands out to me as well in the Ghost Cyberman prototype I've got, is that the one I've got, there were varying paint jobs on the one I've got, is literally looks like a Cyberman until you hold it up to the light. But I think what I like about these is the fact that these types of ones, is that they are clear. And I know there were some Ghost Cyberman prototypes along with the holographic 9th Doctors that were completely clear. But yeah, I like this because again, it's just something that little bit different to a collection piece, which I think just does sort of look good when you've got them all stood together. Now, onto the middle ones. I will do the TARDIS first. There's a reason that this is because I've actually had to blue tack the 12th Doctor on the middle to get him to stand there. So I'll take him off screen for a second. So this TARDIS is from the Fantastic Collection. Again, same collection as the 9th Doctor. I don't believe this is a rare one, but again, it's a nice little piece to have as part of the collection. I know they have done other versions which are bigger versions. They have done glittery versions which were exclusives and things like that. I wasn't, and I have no plans to buy those versions, however, because although they do look nice, I'm sure the glittery one looks very nice, and the larger ones certainly look nice. I've got a holographic TARDIS in the collection, and I don't really feel like I need to collect the other ones. As I said, it's a nice thing to have, but ultimately to have one that's bigger or have one with a bit of glitter, that's money I could be better used on other things, other projects. So I'm literally just very happy just having just this one. Very nicely detailed. Obviously, you've got all the proper signage, the windows and everything. Again, just makes for a nice little display piece. And lastly, we have this, which is the Ghost 12th Doctor, and this was a San Diego Comic-Con 2016 exclusive. For those people wondering as well, I just want to say all of these I have bought off eBay. I don't know if they're still on there, how easy they are to find, how much worth they are now, but that is where I got all of mine from. Just so I'm clear, so people are not asking. For example, this is a Comic-Con exclusive. People will say, "Oh, did you go to Comic-Con?" or "Oh, where did you get this? Where did you get this?" I got them all on eBay. Just keep it simple. So this one very nicely detailed. Obviously, he's even got the little things like the rip on his jacket from the episode, and obviously he's got the ghostly black eyes and sort of ghostly covered head. Now, this isn't really a holographic figure, but because the holographic figures tend to have this sort of turquoisey, bluish colour, it just fitted in with the rest. And the fact that it was an exclusive as well was nice. Personally, if I'm honest, it would have been nice, I think, to have seen this in a holographic style. These colours, but similar to let's say the 10th Doctor, 9th and 10th Doctors. It is a clear blue, but then there are parts of it, such as the hair, that are painted in, and obviously the detailing on the clothes is there, but then the hands are still clear as well. So I think it would have been a really good idea, and obviously it would have meant that, to be fair, this is more accurate to the episode because he's not see-through. He's not, there's not sort of any kind of transparency in the episode. But I just think it would have been an extra great little touch if the head had been transparent, as had the hands. And the other thing as well, which I think would have been a nice touch, which this doesn't have, it looks like it should have it, but it doesn't, is that it could have been glow in the dark. And the same with the TARDIS. Actually, I think they have done. Actually, no, I say that. I know for a fact they have done glow in the dark versions of the TARDIS. But when I got this, I honestly thought that it was glow in the dark because that's how it looked. And I think I did see some places. Other people who've done reviews of this, advertising it and saying, or just people who are doing reviews, not just advertisements, who did sort of mention about its glow-in-the-darkness, and there's definitely at least one who said it did definitely glow in the dark, and I can confirm to you, I know this is something that's going to be difficult to get on camera, because it is so light, I can't get up and turn the lights off, but I promise you, this does not glow in the dark. At least this one I have got here does not glow in the dark. It never has glowed in the dark, and it probably never will glow in the dark. But nonetheless, I got it because, as I said, it's a nice. It was a nice extra little one to have for my collection. I love how they all look together. I've got them dotted about on my shelves. You've probably seen them in my videos, but yeah, they. It's a great little thing to collect. I'm sure. Put it this way, I'm still not going to collect, and I probably never will collect, all of the Titan vinyls, but I can certainly see why people collect them, and if you're considering starting collecting them, either collecting all of them, or just collecting special ones like this, or the other special ones, do it, because if you can get them for a decent price, as I said, I got all of these for sort of, $2.99, on eBay. If you can find them for the right price, then it really is something that's a great little addition, collection to have. Just very quickly before I finish this video, I want to touch on the pop vinyl figures, because I'm sure some people are going to ask about if I collect those. I don't collect those. Again, I have no plans to collect those. I may get one or two in future because there are some that I do like the look of, but it's probably not something that I would actually collect myself. Again, partly for the reason because there are lots of them, and I have seen people do custom versions of them, and full credit to those people. Their custom versions are great, but again, it's just not something that I can see myself making custom versions of or really collecting. As I said, I like these because I like the holographicness. It fits in with the other sort of holographic pieces that I've got, and it means that I can take an interest in the collection without having to worry about, collecting all of them. it really is. It really works for me, and I'm very happy with it. But that is my Titan vinyls collection, as always. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot, and be sure to check out the description below for a link to my Patreon. There is an exclusive webcomic and rewards for people who support it, and the funding generated by my Patreon helps me fund future videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.